The UK Government Data Ethics Framework is one of a number of tools available to help public sector teams use data ethically, responsibly and appropriately. It's intended to help teams working with data either directly or indirectly assess and understand the ethical implications of what they're doing. The rapid pace of development of new data-driven technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, as well as the availability of increasingly detailed data that's generated by and about individuals and communities and societies, presents the public sector with significant opportunities but also real challenges. Public are rightly concerned about how their data is used, and that extends to how government uses their data about them to deliver services but also to develop policy and to make decisions. Public trust in how government, as well as other large organisations, and how they use data has historically been low. And the use of new data-driven technologies has the potential to significantly improve the delivery of public services, but it can be difficult for the members of the public to understand how they make decisions about them and decisions that affect them. And in fact, it can sometimes be really difficult for those who've developed these new systems in the first place to fully understand and explain how they're working. This has the potential to really erode trust in how public sector organisations use data, as well as trust in new technologies. There's many approaches to assessing data ethics, and they all do very similar things. We've chosen this one specifically because it was developed specifically for the UK public sector, and it's appropriate for a wide variety of data-driven projects, and as well as being accessible to non-data experts and non-specialist users. It covers both personal and non-personal data uses and breaks things down into three key principles: fairness, transparency and accountability. The framework's intended for anyone working directly or indirectly with data, but Welsh Government would recommend that it's used by teams where there aren't existing established ethics processes in place already. So teams that are doing statistical work or research will often consider the ethics of what they're doing as part of their processes. So we'd recommend carrying on with those if you want to, but you can change if you wish. We'd also suggest that this is used by teams where ethics is not really considered at all at the moment, and that it started at the beginning of a project around the same time as you'd be starting to think about things like data protection, equalities impacts, human rights impacts, and all of the other things we start thinking about early on in project development. The framework's intended for use by anyone in the UK public sector, and it's very much written that way. Welsh Government would encourage teams in Wales to consider the Welsh context when they're using this tool and thinking about data use, specifically around things like the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, but also our commitment to social partnership with trade unions, and whether there's any specific concerns around Welsh language data or bilingual data. There's a clear link here with the Digital Service Standard commitments around ethics, privacy and security, and the use of the new data ethics frameworks will ensure that teams are properly assessing the ethics of what they're doing, alongside privacy where they're using personal data and all of the other commitments that we have.